I mean, who doesn't want a bracket reset?
Well, you said you were hoping for a 4-0 in the second one, so it was over and done with as soon as possible. So I don't know about that. You mustn't want it that much.
Well, what I do know is that we have our two teams finalised top two in the region, and we're cracking straight into this grand final here. Ground zero. Well, they fell in that game 7 in the upper final earlier on today, Yummy, but they've got the recency bias on their side. A strong win over Pioneers, and Power, they've been just waiting, hanging out, no scrims available. I'm making that up. They might have scrimmed, but they could have cooled down. It's been a while since they played a couple of hours, and Amphis just dodging out of the way of that one. Well, might be telling.
Listen, Power lost their crown. They had the crown at the very beginning of this season. In the fall split, they were the top dogs. They were the kings of OCE. They lost it last split, but winning this grand final, I feel like they get it right back. But look at that from Fiber.
Over goes bang, huge double touch to open up the grand finals. It was Beaver missing in the middle, Amphis on the backboard. See you later. I'm putting it straight behind you. Ground zero, picking up where they left off in the lower final. And Fiber Beast, he calls himself, living up to the name.
He's been popping off all the way since the second event of last split. Of course, he's been a mainstay mechanically in the region. But on this team, Fiber has been that beast.
Lockie worrying about Power's firepower up front. How about their own from his teammates there? That was... what a way to start here. Power has to be a little bit rattled, as we said. They've had a bit of a break. They played in the first series of the day, couple of best of sevens in between. And right now, it certainly looks like ground zero, mechanically at least. They're just coming out firing. Great save from Fiber again.
He was great in the defense in that last series, Fiber, not just getting the goals, but also saving a lot of them. And he's continued that on. Torsos couldn't find the little tip past the defender.
Oh, almost an opportunity. Kaka gets a huge pinch off the sidewall as well. A little scam. Torsos could have scored. He's playing so aggressively, sitting downfield, just being that nuisance, that classic sort of player, if you will, Yummy, as a throwback to North America.
Yeah, that's a callback.
He is just rotating all the way through the offense. That maybe Amphis finds an opening. Superlock, he dives across and gets the save.
You can see the demo attempts coming out from Power as well. They like rotating really wide in that attacking half, but it does leave them a little open to the counterattacks. They've done well so far to cut off those counterattacks before they happen.
And now Power have to find a way. They're a goal down, and well, they don't really... you could say they could afford a warm-up game or a warm-up series, if you will, but I don't think they want to put the pressure on themselves here. They want to come out swinging, but Kaka has an open net, buries it in the left-hand side, and ground zero. Oh, they're looking hot.
They're doing great, and Kaka in particular was that player we were looking for, has read the play, read the bounce, and after a rough series in that upper bracket final against Power, he's made the resurge.
They just look in the zone right now. We talk about being in the flow state as players, and well, Kaka might have found it right here, but that's an open net. Yorsos goes for the double touch. That was a ridiculous decision. It was wide open, but he just almost couldn't believe it. He had to do something else.
It's one of those moments you think, okay, well, I need to do something to get past the defense, and just not understanding that there isn't anybody there. And it's surprising because Power have been so good off the kickoffs. It's been one of their main focuses leading into this split.
You had to think their teammates would have been screaming at him that it was open, but goes for the high double touch. The worst part is, Yummy, he didn't connect with the ball at all.
And that's so surprising. Torsos, one of the best players for the longest time in OC, with his backboard doubles. He's hit a million of them, and maybe showing a sign of nerves mentality in this. Okay, it's in. Oh my goodness, that was worrying.
Oh, great play from Amphis though. Just no pass, straight over the top, small touch and the pop over Fiber, and it almost, Kaka had a chance to pinch that out, but he's almost just put it straight back in the net. Power do get one back.
You give us the throwback to classics. That's a throwback to Dumbo. He used to love the simple double tap. And here we go. The kickoff strat from Power. The double flip back. Nobody going for the kickoff. It's worked out to give them possession and boost.
Great pass back. Fiber's awkward. He might miss this one. Does touch it to the corner, which gets a little bit of time here for Superlocky to work with off the backboard. Fever's last man. Amphis over the top. Redirect. Kaka. Ground zero pass plays Absolutely sensational.
And these pass plays are so forward. They're so direct. We've seen so many of these out from the backboard, flip resets, going forward, Kaka gunning it up the pitch. It makes it really difficult to get back in time.
Fantastic play there. That's what you want to see from this ground zero lineup, bringing that offense and really taking it to Power, who, well, we all predicted at least for this first series, but right now it is ground zero, just running away with it. They started strong. They let them back in a little bit. Torsos could have leveled it up, but, well, sometimes these things happen, Yummy. As we said, you can miss a few open nets or decide not to shoot them.
Well, Super Lockie's turned that confidence from the interview into confidence on the pitch as well. He's looking for a lot more flip resets, trying to be a bit more tricky in the air against this Power defense that in the past has been quite strong. Kaka, he had to go out for that one because Super Lockie was getting bumped.
I love how Power just delay their rotation a little bit to get back. They're just sort of looking either for the boost grab or a redirect, maybe a bump downfield. It just shows the trust they have in their rotation, and maybe there's an opportunity. Could be an open net. Amphis puts it away. It's back to 1 goal.
These are the mistakes that were costing Kaka earlier on, touching it back to his own backboard, can't recover in time for the follow-up. He's given Power a chance.
23 seconds on the clock, and it's 2-3. That looks pretty. I don't mind it on the scoreboard there. As we kick off now, Fiber does get the huge beat with 20 seconds left. Amphis, maybe the pass play is blocked out by Kaka. 15 on the clock. What can they do? Fever bounce, dribble, Super Lucky pushes it aside. Torsos slips out of the way.
Oh, he didn't expect Amphis to get that touch. He was hoping that it would be just Amphis bumping him out of the way. He'd get a free open net. 3 seconds left. Ground zero. Want to secure it with an extra goal, but it stays up in the air. A chance in the defensive half, but it's going to hit the ground. Ground zero. Fight back in game 1.
Huge start. The momentum, the confidence from that lower final coming through there for ground zero. Just had the warm-up, had the momentum, and they just looked more match ready there in game number 1. Team Power, well, Amphis still got his 5 shots, a couple of snags as well, a couple of sausage rolls, but it was ground zero in the end. 3-2, strong win. The Power, it seems like they're starting to just warm up a little bit.
And it did feel like a slow start for Power. They looked a little worrying early on, but second half of the game, a lot more even, maybe good signs towards game number 2 for Power. For the moment, though, I feel like ground zero, they're in a much better spot. And that was the major thing that Super Lockie said. You know, they kind of let the first couple of games go away in that upper bracket final. They didn't start strong enough, and then they were able to resurge at the end. So I think they're going to be really confident now for this series.
I mean, this is what we said in the first matchup today with these lineups. If ground zero can start well, you know, the mental demons perhaps of Power can kick in. I think it's probably less prominent here given it's a grand final and they need to win twice, 2 series in a row to win. However, starting well is so crucial, especially as you said, when you have the warm-up coming off that lower final, you have to start well. You've got your match ready. You just played 10 minutes ago, and they've done that there. They've got the all-important game number 1 win, but they need to keep pushing up, pushing the ceiling, because right now, if they're going to stay at this level, you just feel like Power's got a few extra gears.
I'd like to hear a little bit from your experience, because I think that for ground zero to get that bracket reset victory, they're going to have to start off with a 4-0 or 4-1, and Fiber has started off both games with blinders.
Maybe a double touch at the start of every game for ground zero. We'll see this bracket reset complete, but right now it is ground zero. Off the kickoff, 5 seconds in, you couldn't have a quicker goal that wasn't just immediately, you know, off the kickoff, a dead ball. This was ridiculous kill back to the corner from Fiber. Just so much speed.
Fiber's one of those players, if he's playing like this, if he's scoring goals out of nowhere, setting himself up, it just makes it so much easier because you just get that extra game, get that extra goal, that extra confidence to play as a team leading out through the rest of the 5 minutes.
We talk about being, you know, pioneers, being a workman-like performance and how you don't want these individual plays, but in a grand final, Yummy, if you want to be that number 1 team in the region, that can really separate the good from the great.
Yeah, look, if you have Vatira playing for you on LAN, you don't have to worry so much about whether Itachi is being the tap-in merchant or not. You're kind of just winning by default, and you just have to do the rest to get across the line.
Ground zero certainly showing that flair, that X factor to perhaps take down Power, something that, well, no one's been able to do yet so far this tournament. Last split, it was it's seemingly pretty easy to do it. But this split, it's looking like a pretty tough task right now. Ground zero, however, well, they're making it look easier than most.
We're in a spot as well in this grand final, and Fever has somehow found the angle underneath both.
I didn't get too excited because two players in net for ground zero. It just felt like the shot was too weak, but in the end, the placement was perfect. He put it on the ground, both players from ground zero on the backboard, and they just, in perfect harmony, he couldn't reach it.
They were both covering that high spot, and unfortunate for them, they look a little silly because Fever ends up going with the Monte Connor bounce down shot, and that will be a tied up game. But again, a crucial series when we look at this, because I feel like the winner of this grand final can all but book their tickets away to Boston. Getting off a strong start to this split, getting a good seeding in future events too, you're going to be in such a good spot.
Wins are crucial. You don't get the extra point, but that extra placement over, you're getting two extra placements if you win this over Pioneers, who, basically you just don't want to be third in OCE for these top teams. And right now, both sides can be happy with where they are, but as you said, they want that extra point. We've seen Fever now, we saw Fiber. It's that X factor, that flair, these little half chances that both sides are taking, and almost again, but it is Fiber getting back.
Really interesting to see the difference between these two teams. Torsos, in that case, is gunning forward, but he guns forward for the bump. And when we've seen Ground Zero in a very similar position, they're gunning forward for more of a pass play to redirect and play it a bit faster.
And both sides seem very clear on what they're doing as well, whether they're going for the bump, the boost, steal, or something else. The shot comes on, Torsos, follow-up, super lock, he saves it. That seemed like a gimme from Torsos. The first one went wide, but again, Ground Zero get out of danger and maybe nearly score a goal of their own, but Fiber and Kaka are so far back, there's no chance of a follow-up.
Kaka really thought that wasn't going to hit the post. It was going to go off the wall and out, so getting away with that one, getting away with a misread, and getting a chance at the other end.
Amphis now going to be able to control this one. Fiber's all the way back. He was waiting on that corner boost. Does get it. Super Locky gets the follow-up. Fiber grabbing the boost. This is the long con from both teams. The redirect. If it had a little bit more power, might have been a little bit special there, but power get out of danger.
I've got to be honest, I called out Super Locky a little bit before this, and he's been really looking on form and starting to look deadly in front of the net.
Super Locky, a bit of a slow to rotate back, however, as the man you're calling out, Fever does backflip. This is dangerous. Amphis in net, always sitting so deep and covering every avenue there as Fever does try to clear it. Fiber's in a little bit of trouble. They're crept up here. Torsos front post. Everyone from Power scrambling. The bump off the backboard. Super Lucky with a flip reset. Says, I'm out of here.
That the wrong way. Yeah, maybe saw that he wouldn't get the double off the backboard. So got out of dodge instead. But now it's a chance for Amphis. He's just going to pressure Kaka a little bit, force him to use some boost. The bump onto Amphis from Fiber. Hey, Fiber's been going for so many bumps and demos in this game.
I've seen the aggression, as we said. They can do it against Pioneers, but can they do it against Power? Well, so far they can. Super Lucky trying to bump Torsos, can't quite get it done.
I think they've been inspired by the number of bumps and demos that Power have been going for, because they're starting to go to that next level as well. It's only a matter of time now that it's stuck in the defense for Power to maybe fumble. It goes the other way, a big clear down, but Amphis just had to stretch a bit too far. Will get the other pass down, but intercepted by the defense.
These bumps, these demos, it's almost that extra dimension, that Z-axis, if you will, for these top teams that maybe Pioneers need to implement. The shot on net, huge pre-jump save from Super Lucky. Fever trying to force it, wedge the ball in 50-50, but again, Super Lucky in net. The bumps are coming through. The plays, Fiber's awkward. The open net goes wide.
Oh, now Amphis can't find that net. That was going to be the game winner right there. He'd done so much work to open it up. He still has to find another one. They've been in attack for a while now, starting to run low on boost, but Kaka got the 100, got the clear, and got them out of dodge.
Oh, this ball's still in the air. Fiber does put it down. We have overtime. We absolutely shouldn't have overtime, ladies and gents. Amphis will be absolutely cursing himself over that miss, but now Ground Zero, can they go 2-0 up in the series? Torsos is awkward, does get the touch. Kaka tries to control it on the backboard, drop down, Fiber's waiting, flip reset over the top. Torsos deals with it, we can take a breath.
Important for the mentality of Power to win this one, not just because they had the win in their pocket, but also to make sure the series is tied up and not running away from them. So this overtime has a lot on the line. Kaka looking for the beat on one. There's a massive fake from Super Lucky to win the game.
Oh no, not Not again. It was Amphis going up on the backboard. Fever baits the pop out, but the fake coming through. He wasn't anywhere near it, Super Lucky, but it was enough to get the job done. Kaka credited with the goal. Ground zero it should be 1-1, but it's 2-0 in the series.
And one small mistake. Amphis hitting the crossbar makes all the difference. And Super Lucky and Kaka have been pouncing on everything. Fiber's been holding the defense, getting demos left, right, and center. They're starting to look like a massive threat like they were at the very beginning of last split.
Super Lucky's 4-1 or 4-2 prediction. Well, it's starting to look pretty good here as the timeout is called. It is confirmed in chat. Power saying, well, let's figure this out. How are we not finding the back of the net when there's no one there?
I don't know. It's been plaguing them. I've seen it in the past, unfortunately for Power, but I feel like for all teams, they all have these days where they're just stretching too far. The mechanics aren't quite there. I don't know what it is. What is it, CJ? Because I'm sure you'd know more than anyone else. What causes those days to happen?
Oh, it has to be pressure, really. There's nothing else. He's not missing that if he's playing ranked, but it's not just pressure or nerves, stuff like that. It's just knowing, when you get an opportunity, I need to bury this, I need to have, put this on it. Even if it's open, you're thinking, I need to make sure that no one can save this. Amphis just tried to slam that home, thinking maybe someone could fly out of nowhere and save it. And in the end, he just blasted high. He rushes himself thinking, there could be someone coming back. There could be a bump. You just never know in those situations. And that's sort of that grand final pressure, that extra, when you feel like someone's looking over your back shoulder, you sort of have that throughout the whole game. Like someone's watching you, you're a little bit on edge.
Yeah, he could have just tapped that in, towed it in along the ground, and it would have been fine. But he's trying to hit that high and hard, and very costly mistake here for Amphis, and that's going to be a part of their timeout. Just try and reset, I'd say, more than anything else. I'm sure they'd be confident that they were able to win the game the way they were playing. So I think anything to just stop the momentum of the series is a plus.
I just want to say I'm proud of this region because the amount of open nets we've had this weekend, I just can't remember it, particularly from the top teams. Maybe in early rounds we see some howlers, but it has just been phenomenal to see even the best players in the region carrying my legacy, Yummy, and showing that you can still be elite at the game, but miss some absolute howlers.
Well, I mean, you made a lot of worlds and majors, so I think you proved it's possible. And so people are just taking afterwards. And I do know that some of the players this week were talking about you, saying you weren't necessarily the best player, but the mentality, the fun factor is the thing that they're trying to get back in and make sure that as a mental game, they're able to stay on top that way.
It's important. I know Ground Zero were talking about that at the major. You're here competing on an international stage at the highest level, but if you're not having fun, what are we really here for at the end of the day? So it's good to see both of these sides in good spirits. The interviews we've had with Fever and Amphis from Power side of things, really just enjoying the game, getting back to playing with that confidence. And obviously we know Super Lucky oozing with confidence as well. The basketball dribble doesn't quite come off, but Ground Zero, they look like they're having fun.
They're having a lot of fun, especially when you've got the individual mechanics like Fiber popping off, Super Lucky as well. They're really enjoying themselves. And Kaka, we've seen him throughout the last few years, and we know how much, I guess, he enjoys playing part of a team and trying to set up his teammates, and enjoys just the overall success rather than attempting to make these individual plays. So I'm sure he's having a blast as well.
The team plays, there's something about them. I always say, you can go for the double flip reset, but how good's an infield pass to your mate? You know what I'm saying? And this is like that. Parker fires it across. Oh, my goodness, it was gone wide. But, gee, that would have been beautiful timing. A bit of anti-caster curse there. Ground Zero trying to work some pass plays in.
They've been getting the advantage on the 50s. Ground Zero looking in good stead despite the timeout coming from Power. It's definitely feeling like early control from Ground Zero.
Yeah, they've just... The timeout, it might not have done too much just yet, however. Still level ball game. Torsos very awkward on the backboard. Does make a great touch. Chain dashes his way out, but misses the follow-up. And then still finds his way. Ground Zero just waiting for Torsos to get to work so they can start their attack. And, well, it is working. They've set up beautifully. And now they get some offense.
A little too predictable with that pass after missing Torsos. Just felt like he had to get it back out of dodge himself. Almost led to disaster. Instead, it goes to the other end. Power getting some opportunities, really starting to put the pressure on. Saw Fiber have to get involved. He will push forward again. A little pass here could be all it takes, but it will be touched out from Power. They're in an awkward spot, and Super Lucky stinks it.
Oh, you have to look at Fiber. Just the chain dashes on the sidewall leading into the 50-50, faking the pass down. It was a double commit in the end from ground zero, but Fiber just committing 2 power plays into their corner. Just a big no-no on the defensive end there for Power, and it leads to that opportunity opening up for Super Lucky.
Super Lucky has not missed a single opportunity either, and that's been a major difference here in this series. It's starting to look very worrying as well for Power after taking a timeout and not just not being able to get advantage of the possession, but also not getting that first goal. They'll be searching, they'll be frustrated, they'll be hoping that this turns into one now.
Kaka going off his own post there to get the flip out of net, does well. And as you said, when you call the timeout, it feels like you're just going to score straight away, and maybe they do. They finally equalise. The bump came through in net.
And these are the sort of goals that Power like to rely on, hitting the corner, getting bumps, getting all 3 members involved and making the shot easy for themselves. And it's good to see them return to a little bit of that play style.
Fiber just so awkward in net. When the demo's coming through, the ball bounces just out enough that you can't reach it. You have to sort of sit there, and you really are a sitting duck in the end. And Fiber couldn't quite get the touch, but maybe now he's got an opportunity off the silly flip reset. Could that go in? Torsos parries off the backboard. Kaka follow up. Also doesn't get the touch. Ground zero. Fiber just so explosive. Oh, that's got to be in.
Oh, it is. And Kaka's managed to find it out of nothing with it. It's just a strong 50 game again. F is trying to do too much, and Kaka is just like, nah, it's all right.
It's a bit of the second man curse again from Power, which we saw early on in the season, where they're just committing so many members front post into the corner, and there's a huge gap to that third man. That really shouldn't have gone in. There should have been the rotation, or second man could have been ready, but perhaps Power getting a little bit too aggressive.
Really just pushed themselves a little too hard, and it's weird to do on the defensive end. Fever faking out the flip reset, opts to go high, but the defenders didn't take the bait. They were nice and patient to be able to get the clear.
We've seen the mechanics from Fiber. We need to see something perhaps from Fever. Amphis has been a little bit quiet so far this series. This is where they need it. 50 seconds on the clock. Power have to find a way if they don't want to face another best of 7. Go again. Well, they're going to have to find something here. You don't want to go 3-0 down.
It's going to be tough as 40 seconds run on the clock, and they haven't been able to get the possession too much. Power, they will get a chance here. It's time for Amphis to step up to show his mechanics, but Fever's now committed as well. Kaka looking for the flip reset. He's hit the backboard. Super Lucky could sink him in and get him on to match point, but he just gets beaten.
They're just going wide, but they're buying their time here. They're just killing time off the clock. Round 0, 15 seconds left. It's in the wrong end for Team Power. Is it going to be a 3-0 facing a sweep? The number 1 team so far this tournament. Perhaps their first loss. 5 seconds left. Fiber might just get the Steelers saved out. Here we go. Amphis, can he keep the ball up? Flick the ball across. Balls hits the ground, and Super Lucky kills it. Ground 0, 3-0.
Desperation time now for a team like Power. As we said at the beginning of the series, if Ground Zero want to win this and win the bracket reset, a 4-0, a 4-1, a dominating and quick victory is going to be so crucial, especially to keep their energy up through what could be a very long day for them. And they're doing everything perfectly. Fiber is just mechanicking out of his mind. Super Lucky incredibly threatening. Kaka is looking clean once again and setting up a lot of these plays, getting 50 after 50. It's looking really good for Ground Zero right now.
Yeah, Power just leaving you these gaps in their defense, and well, it is Ground Zero capitalizing. We haven't really seen Power this rattled so far this tournament, so it's interesting to see. And well, there's no timeout left, Yummy. The timeout buff is dead. They tried to call it there. They tried to use it, but they just didn't quite get it in time. And in the end, Ground Zero, they're playing phenomenally so far. They're capitalizing on these little, as I said, these little gaps in the rotation. Second and third man getting caught so far apart from each other. And, well, we're
normally,
now for Power.
Normally, Power have been the ones rattling everyone else with their demos, and Ground Zero kind of weathered that storm, and now it's almost stopped.
I'm not sure. It feels like it may be the break from Power. You know, they played the first series. They got themselves amped up. That was to get into the top 2. They would have screamed, warmed up, been ready. They came out firing. They got the job done in 7. But then once you get there, you sort of settle down a little bit, take a break. Perhaps they're still not warmed up because we didn't see these defensive structural errors from Power so far this tournament.
Ground Zero now. They're on the verge of sweeping into the bracket reset, of setting up their split to be a perfect regain after a very tough major. They want to get back. They want to go overseas and have a bigger performance. And if in event 1, this could be the right start.
Oh, geez, that would have been sensational from Kaka. Formal's in the green room, just grinning from ear to ear, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. Loving what he's seeing from Ground Zero, but as Power predictors, I'm not sure we're seeing much at all here. Fever has to find something. Torsos off the sidewall, face out Fiber. Amphis has not come alive yet this series. Perhaps this could be the opportunity off the crossbar. The follow-up, where's Fever? Not quite there. Fiber gets back in time.
Amphis missed earlier. This time it was Torsos just stretching the shot a bit too far. And then Fever has gone underneath the ball. Can't get the skimmy down. Amphis has been scoring those in the past. Will he set up another one? No, the defense holds strong.
Kaka huge in defense. Super Lockie, what can he do now? Can Ground Zero get the go-ahead goal in perhaps the deciding game? Fiber throws one on net. Won't be able to get the boost either. Amphis trying to get something to work, but this midfield control has been phenomenal so far. Super Lockie in net, in trouble, deals with it.
He jumps out of the way as well of the demo so he can follow up at the same time, and that's been slowing down a lot of these Power attacks. The fact that the Ground Zero defense aren't overcommitting themselves like Power did earlier.
Torsos now, he's got an opportunity. Boost to work with, gets the flip reset. Fiber up so fast to get there. Fever having to cut rotation, trying to get something to work, but Super Lockie's landing on the ball. He's got a flip reset to work with. The bump coming through, the follow-up goal. It's a bit of individual brilliance from the man, Super Lockie.
It didn't look like he had too much until he got this extra flip out of nowhere, gets the ground pinch, gets the follow-up, gets everything.
Fiber guarantees the goal as well. The bump was huge on Fever, clearing the way, and it is Ground Zero again, 3 minutes away from sweeping perhaps their biggest contenders for that #1 spot.
They're in such a good stead right now, Ground Zero. The team that completely threw everything at last split, disbanded completely, threw away all their points, and have had the confidence not just to get to that next major, but to be able to catch up to a team like Power and points, and maybe even make their way to Worlds.
Well, Super Lockie said it himself with the points. He said, would you rather just maybe make the major, be content with being the #2, #3 team in the region? Or would you rather go for this move, make the majors, maybe miss the Worlds because of it, but have the best team he can possibly make? And this might be what he's done here. This Ground Zero lineup are looking phenomenal.
For the team that they have to do it against, they're almost neck and neck with Power. If they win this series, they are completely neck and neck with Power at the end of this, and it just goes to how they perform across the end of the split.
You can't say it again, Yummy. If they win this series, if they win this grand final, they'll be level on points after missing an entire split and a major. That is absolutely ridiculous. But Torsos, the veteran's got other ideas. Oh, we might have a series just yet.
Hey, you can't miss the net if there's nobody there and you're just rolling it in, CJ. This was the outcome of all those misses that happened earlier.
Ground Zero maybe getting a little bit happy with themselves, thinking about the next series already, but well, we know what Power can do. They're not going to give up, these guys. Tortos has been in this situation many times, and he's found his way out of it just like he does here. Gets the lead.
Their kickoff game from Power has been just far too good, and Fever faking out Kako just gives that little extra space, puts him in an awkward spot on that front coast. So hard to defend once you're caught out.
Oh, Power now. They don't want to go to that second series. They want to just try and find a way back into this one. However, well, mentally draining this could be. 3 games down, but Ground Zero, there's still time on the clock to secure it here.
I really like that from Power too, just not giving up whatsoever. A lot of teams in this position might have just rolled over and knowing that they have a second series and focused on that one, but I do feel like every game that Power can get, if they can make this surge back in the first series, it actually gives them a better chance in the second.
it's almost to just make Ground Zero question their own gameplay if they can find a way to stem the flow right here. Super Lucky might have other ideas. Flip reset over the top, blocked out by Torsos. He scored 2 of his own, and now he's saving them as well.
He's a menace, Super Lucky. Very deadly in front of the net. He's causing multiple people to have to commit to the save. It's only been a miracle of the defense. The power have kept out. What a skim off the backboard. But once again, it's the counterattack. Fever over to Torstos, not in.
Even a better read from Fever off the skim as well, just to be ready for it. Super fast up in the air. Amphis now, little solo play. Doesn't quite flick Kaka, but the double commit comes in. The double touch from Lockie does do well there for Ground Zero.
Ooh, faked out by Fiber, the kind of play that'll generate so much time for your team and so much space in that forward half, but they only have 26 seconds left if they want to get this equalizer and maybe win in a game 4.
They'd love to see a sweep here, Ground Zero, and move on to that next series. Team Power, they want to get one back and wrestle some momentum here in this potentially first series, hopefully only first series for Power. We might see another one, though. 7 seconds on the clock. Amphis trying to kill this one and get their first game on the board. Super Lucky 50-50. Fiver's going to be there. Can he get the read? Fever, huge read in time. Kaka circling. Ball in the corner is going to stay alive. Fiver passed across. Is anyone there? Ball hits the ground. Power get their first win on the board.
They worked hard in the last few seconds, but Power showed the control in the second half of that game to get the demos to open up the space, to make it a little bit simpler for themselves. And I feel like when you're in this position where you're missing so many shots, simplicity is key.
Ground Zero had a chance there late. If Fiver just got a bit more power on the pass back, that could have been anything there that last play. But in the end, a few demos opening up, exposing that third man there for Team Power, or exposing Ground Zero's third man. Today was a couple of goals. Torsos finds is 2 of the easiest goals he'll ever get. He'll be happy with those ones. And, well, it was Team Power getting their first game on the board. And it can be easy to just throw away this series when you're 3-0 down because, you know, you could think, oh, it's just a lot of effort to get back to 7. But, well, I don't think Jimmer would ever let them exactly, you know, change it up in a series and throw it away. He'll want them to win this one.
And making sure that they prove to themselves that they can take a game and get the series a lot closer is really important. But I like that they brought back the demos. They were a little bit more fierce throughout that play. And the only thing, you know, it gives them a little bit more time to maybe find some confidence for Amphis, because he hasn't been having that kind of star-studded performance we've seen, even when they haven't been playing well in last split. You know, Amphis was always that star.
It's great to see, though, that they can win without Amphis scoring, as you were calling for, a nice skimmy dim sim or something like that, a double touch off the ceiling, a double flip reset. We haven't seen it yet from Amphis, but Power still managing to get a game win, doing the more workmanlike, which has been a bit of a theme of what we've been talking about lately. It wasn't the most impressive performance from Power, I guess, individually, mechanically, talent-wise, but they just got it done.
It almost feels like the regain after the major and after an off-season where everybody's kind of just getting back into the season, that it almost has to be workman-like, that it has to be more simple game plans, because, you know, the flashy plays just haven't been working out quite as well for everyone.
We might see some flashy plays here from Fever, the 2-time player of the year in Oceania. Couldn't quite get it working there, Torsos. The double goals. He had a brace last game. Couple of snags to his name. He's trying to get one. Maybe down the other end, it is Fiber going for it. Torsos get pinched out by Super Lucky. Kaka gets a free shot on net. It goes wide, but it's still going to be open. Fever lands on it. That looked in for all money.
Oh, Fever just managing to recover after he misses the first read. Gets behind the ball enough, and it's maybe little heroics like that could make the difference for Power in a series that's starting to get tense.
Super Lucky's got options downfield. Flip reset goes wide, but Fiver lands on it. Goes for the quick shot over the top of Fever. Follow-up blocked out by Torsos. Ground Zero. They didn't call an OT or a timeout, should I say. Maybe they didn't need one. They're looking strong here. What can Fiver do? Flip reset. Blocked out by Torsos again.
Yeah, that beast is just not yet unleashed. Fiber has been attempting to find those little gaps. He's still looking for the flip resets, but Power have been able to hold and weather this storm so far. They get a chance at their own to see if Thunder will strike for lightning, and they go over that defender. A chance off the backboard. Torsos goes high. Does Amphis have the follow-up? It's a double miss. and it's not capitalized on.
Oh, they just didn't believe in the double whiff. It wasn't too hard of a read. The power just got them a little bit there. The force. Maybe Kaka can make it work. Quick double touch. Skimmed out. Fiber there with boost to work with. Goes over the top of Torsos. Fever gets a huge read.
Another chance for Ground Zero to get the shot, and it's another massive 50 from Super Lucky straight towards the net.
Oh, enormous first goal there from Ground Zero if they want to take down this first series. And well, that sort of was reminiscent of the Turbo Pulse goal season 5. I'm bringing up the old memory. Season 5 World Championships. If any originals are here, eat your heart out. Ground Zero, get a great 50-50, and sometimes you need a little bit of fortune.
Does anyone remember the Kronovi air dribble and Fevers intercept them? Oh my goodness, off the kickoff again.
Oh, the 50-50 back the other way. I guess sometimes all things level themselves, balance themselves out eventually, and Fever does get the 50-50 down the other end. A very similar goal to Super Lockies. Tie ball game.
And Power this time just letting themselves have a bit more control of the game. Torsos just rushing in. You can see that Fiber was really confident to stay back and try and make the 50 his own. But now Power don't just want to let Ground Zero have the run of play.
Kaka try to set up the double. Torsos is missed on the backboard. This could be dangerous now. Super Locky has 100 boost to work with. Goes for a ground pinch. Gets enough power on it. Pre-flip from Amphis goes wide. Kaka now off the ceiling. Has a reset. Fakes it underneath. Shot goes wide again. Fever pushes forward. Power defending with all their might.
Oh, you can see Ground Zero loving to slow down these plays. And that's awesome because Power have been pre-jumping a lot of the saves themselves. So it's a good little change-up coming out from them. Hasn't been fruitful just yet. Super Lucky is well in the other half looking for the demo, and he's left his own teammates back.
They're low on boost here, Power. That's why they're having to back up. Fever's awkward in net. Has to parry to the side of Torsos. Has a little bit to work with, though. Has the 100 boost. Over the top. Emphasis there. Blocked out by Super Lucky. Both sides respecting each other so much here.
They're really just trying to send two people forward, one person back. Power. They always want to have that net covered and not let that counter-attack happen. And you know what? This is almost like a ones play reminiscent, take you all the way to back quarter. It's very dangerous to do in threes.
Oh, I had to check if that was a Ground Zero player or not. Amphis just dribbling Torsos on the sidewall. Does get a 50-50 out. Perhaps another beat. Kaka up very quick to the ball there. And there is just so much space. Both teams backing off Yummy and just they don't want to concede right now.
It's a very close game. The next team that concedes might just see themselves on that losing side of the pitch. Chance now for Ground Zero, but once again, playing very risk-free. Both teams very passive. They don't want to give up this goal.
Oh, it's just such polar opposite of what we've seen so far this series. Both sides usually just so aggressive, rotating on the ball, cutting for each other. Now we're just seeing this deep gameplay where there's so many holes. There's so much relying on touches like this from Amphis.
Well, that Amphis, he was caught a little bit with the ball going over the top of his head. And speaking of that, Kaka's got over the top of all of them. Super Lucky was looking for the demo on the backboard, but that meant he wasn't there to take the shot. And it was too risky for the third man to dive.
Power is so slow, though, in defense. The pinch is off the sideball. Kaka has to pounce. Someone from Ground Zero has to make the most of these opportunities. Super Lucky takes his time, has 100 boost, takes it high, over the top. Fever pre-jump, drops it down. 10 seconds left. Who can get it done?
Just any clear is good enough to just relieve a little bit of the pressure. Super Lucky up against Torsos. Torsos wins the race. Down to Amphis, but it hits the ground.
There was a chance there, but we've got overtime. Ground Zero win this. You can have another best of 7 for your Sunday afternoon. Or will it be Power to get another game back, perhaps start this reverse sweep?
Best of 7 reverse sweeps, so rare in RLCS history. It's only happened a handful of times. And it might just be happening now at open net, but Torsos was caught off guard.
Double commit, though, might be dangerous. Super Lucky bails his team out. Fever now. Power with boost to work with, but he's gone too slow here. And now Fiber is just charging at this Power defense. Amphis works the ball out, can't quite get the follow-up. Super Lucky off the board. Fever has to go off the ceiling, gets a huge touch, and the follow-up.
He'll have the chase for the demo as well. Gets the bump, and it's open for Amphis. They're bringing it back.
They got their second game win on the board. Power, they want to end it here in this first series. Great bump there from Fever. Amphis finds the opening. Ground Zero had their chances, but we're going to go one more time.
That's been the strength of Fever throughout this series, is that he goes for the solo play. He goes, in this case, for that dunk off the roof. And even if it doesn't pan out like it usually does, he's in a position to go for the bump and open up the net.
9 shots to ground zero, 5 shots to power. They were the aggressors there, the boys in green, but it was power. It just came down to those little moments. There were so many openings, so many gaps. The teams were spread out and just didn't want to concede. But that means your third man is just all the way back here, Yummy, on an island. And if you just get a bump, it's game over.
It's almost a game plan that leads into Power's advantage. Power love going for those bumps and demos throughout this series. If you're leaving one person back, then it's only one person they need to take out to score.
We might see a timeout here as well. The timeout is confirmed. So ground zero will be taking the 90 seconds just to reset themselves. As we said, they really lost their structure and it did play into Power's hands there. Ground zero usually playing so close in defense and they're trying to sort of build this wall, but the wall turned into one man just hanging out and they trusted that for long enough, but eventually that's going to break.
Well, this happens sometimes as well when you're up odd match point, ready to win a bracket reset in grand final. You start losing what you were doing to win the series. You start going, okay, well, we just need to close it out. Let's just play safe consistently. And you forget to play aggressively and go for all those crazy plays that Fiber was going for earlier. You start being less threatening and it actually lets your opponents back into the game.
Hopefully the timeout, they can work on that and recognize it, because it's one thing to it is one thing to say it as well, but it's another thing to put it into place. Oh, we're just going to play. Let's just get back to playing aggressive. It's easy to say, but there's that little man in the back of your mind thinking, oh, if I miss this ball and all of a sudden it goes to 7 and we're on the verge of a reverse sweep. Trust me, Yummy, I've thought about it.
Yeah, what was the little man saying when you were on Wasteland up against NRG?
Miss the ball. You're retiring after this series. It'd be devastating if you won.
Don't win and then retire.
Don't win, it'll look bad.
Yeah.
It's better for the whole product. So no, they'll be thinking about it though. This always happens. Whenever you get 3-0 up, even in that game 4, if you lose that one, you just start thinking, oh, geez, I wouldn't like getting reverse swept here. And then they win the second game and now we're into game number 6. If Power can force the 7, ground zero will be sweating buckets.
I feel like it's at this point, and the reason why they take the timeout is this is where the questions start. Okay, the reverse sweep's actually possible. Okay, they've been playing well against us. Before that, you don't even entertain the idea. You're like, they got a game, but it's fine. We've still got 3 in the pocket. We're still going to win. They get onto that match 7, that game 7, I'm worried.
You have to favour Power. They've got all the momentum, and at the end of the day, that's a free hit for Power. Ground zero have to win that if they want to force another series. Power can afford to lose. They can afford to lose that game 7, but just couldn't quite. I just feel like at this point, ground zero, I don't want to be in their position, as crazy as it sounds when you're 3-2 up. I'd nearly rather be Power now, just with the momentum snowballing it through.
They've got the momentum and they've also got the safety net. It's almost a great situation for Power. Obviously, they'd prefer to be 3-0 up and on the verge of just sweeping out the first regional, the first event of this split. But, it feels on paper like a good spot.
Man, if it was just single elim, there was no potential bracket reset. Obviously, ground zero, you've got the 1 game advantage, but just Power knowing they've got that second series in their back pocket if they need it, it just feels like they can play with so much more freedom than ground zero, who need to make everything work. Oh, Super Lockie almost went for a pogo jump up, but couldn't quite get it working. And as we said, Team Power, they're looking pretty comfortable.
There was a lot of early goals from ground zero that led to their success at the beginning of the series, like getting the first goal over and over again. And it's feeling like one of the major differences here for Power is they've closed up their defense earlier on in the game and not really kept the game a little bit more of an even pace.
Oh, that was nearly rocketed into the corner. And it's this man right here, Fiber, who was electric at the start of the series, has gone quiet, been shut down by the Power defense. Can he come back online here for ground zero? He could be their saviour to force the second best of 7. Or is it Kaka? Double touch Amphis on the backboard. Saves it away.
Fever just hovered behind that ball to always ensure they couldn't take the immediate shot. Allowed Amphis to hold that backboard defense. Another chance on the other end, looking for the redirect, but Super Lockie not taking the bait.
Memphis not quite getting the touch he wanted there. Torsos staying under. It does help. Kaka pass downfield. Now here we go. Where's the demo and the last man kick it out? Fever huge on the backboard.
Super Lucky was still searching for that demo, but Fever avoids it well. Fever has been an absolute beast in the defensive half. Now Amphis has to step up in the offensive half to give them that early opportunity, to give them that early lead, and Kaka doesn't want it to happen.
Tips it to the side, but it's straight to Fever. He doesn't have much boost, but he's still getting to work here. Tries to get the flip reset, forces out a poor touch. Torsos, solo play, flip reset, blocked out by Fiber.
Need a little bit more boost to get an early flip reset there to really test the defense. Unfortunately, took too long and the challenge comes out. Another chance though for Fever. Has the support across from Torsos. So important that Super Lucky gets that touch, and he's gifted it over to Kaka for a chance of his own.
Gets a big beat, but Torsos does one of his own, and Amphis just turns, cuts rotation, forces the aggression. The huge miss comes out, and it's got to be Amphis credited with the goal.
And Torsos did all the work at the start to get that across to Amphis. Amphis hits it over back to Torsos, and somehow it skims off Amphis's undercarriage to give him credit.
Fiver missing the ball in the corner was huge there. Ground zero, we talked about the pressure, that little man in the back of their head thinking about the reverse sweep. Well, it's just becoming more and more alive. The man is growing.
What a statement this could be if Power were able to reverse sweep in a best of 7 to win the series, to prove that they are the best. But Kaka has gone down, and he's got the bump support as well.
And he's got other ideas about how this series is going to play out. The bumps come through. Amphis can't get the challenge. Torsos has to wait for the bump and can't get out of the way in time. Ground zero, they find a leveler. Can they get a lead, though? That's what we've been questioning. Oh, no, the kickoff.
What a kickoff strat.
The double kickoff.
With the close cheat right behind, leads Fiber to hit it straight into Torsos. Fever's gone for the Spanish. Brilliance from Power.
That's a set play. Look how close Torsos cheated. They knew Ground Zero were going to hit it straight on, and Fever found the demo. Torsos found the perfect touch. Team Power, we've been calling for kickoff strats. Johnny Boy is grinning from ear to ear. How happy is he right now at home?
And they've got so many different strategies. They've got the double backflip strategy. They've got the fake. They've got this Spanish style that we've seen for the first time. And they do it at such a crucial time. They waited until it was tied up, and they needed a game win to keep them alive.
Torsos cheating so close as well. If that ball just had a little bit of elevation on it, it could have been a goal down the other end. But this is what Power are doing. They're willing to take these risks, Yummy, when they have a series in their back pocket, and it's paying off right now.
And it's good to see, because I think last split, I talked to Amphis last split, they were so focused on just trying to get back their midfield play and back their style.
Oh, no!
Oh, my goodness. Amphis is finding that one.
Fiber just missed the ball right here. I'm not sure what happened, but he just found no momentum on his car, perhaps no boost. The speed off the corner, he wasn't recognizing, and oh boy, Yummy, I can hear that Champions Field. Is that Shogun calling our name?
It's looking good. Shogun, the voice of Champions Field. And yet, I was saying, Amphis talked about they were so worried about how they weren't playing well in the midfield, that their just base play wasn't good. They weren't able to focus on the kickoffs last split. I think it's just a sign of confidence in their game plan, in their game style, that they're once again focusing on those kickoffs.
Gimmer would love to watch this. Maybe not that pass play. They do block it out, however, and just the way they've brought it back here. 3-0 down. They look down and out of this game. Ground zero looks gone for all money. We were talking about a 4-0 sweep. Now we're thinking, is it even possible for Ground Zero to win a Game 7?
Oh, we were on match point, and now we're looking at reverse sweep point, which is such a weird statement to make. It seems so in control for Ground Zero. It looked like so many goals they were getting for free, and that's just a massive miss. Amphis is going to back off. He knew that his extra touch wasn't going to go in, so opts to leave it for Torsos.
Smart touch from Torsos. Maybe not that one cutting off Fever. However, it might lead to an opportunity down the other end. Torsos makes the save. He's double committed with his teammates 8 times in a row. It might lead to a goal. Fiber can't find it. Blocked out by Fever. Power with 10 seconds left. Boy, oh boy, it was 3-0. It's going to be 3-3, and we're going Game 7 champ field.
Oh, another save to get them into this spot. Amphis is going to run away with it. No, Kaka saves it, but we head to a Game 7.
Team Power says there's levels to this game, baby, and they've clicked into overdrive. We're going to Game 7. We're going the whole way. Team Power, they don't want a second series. They want a one and done.
It's polar opposite to the upper bracket final where Power went up 3-1 and then Ground Zero made the fight back, brought it to a Game 7. Now Power are doing it to them. They're showing that they can control. They can get 10 shots to 6. They can dominate the kickoffs as well, and they can potentially win the best of 7 reverse sweep in a grand final in the first event after they went 5th to 8th throughout the entire last split.
How did we get here? How did we get to a game number 7, Ground Zero? Well, Yummy, it's time to find out what they're made of, because 3-0 up, Ground Zero had all the momentum, everything in their favor, looking down a super lucky prediction of a 4-1, maybe a 4-2. They could maybe give them 2. But we have got all the way to 7, not only 7 in an unorthodox manner, in a beautifully, on paper, 3-0, 3-3. How good does this look? Potential reverse sweep. This would be more history. Best of 7 reverse sweeps don't happen. They don't happen too often.
I don't know how many times it's happened in RLCS, but it's in like the 10s range, 10, 11, 12 for a best of 7 reverse sweep. In fact, last season was the first time we had any of them in North America. We might be getting another one in OCE. It's up to Power to make history, or is it down to Ground Zero to break it?
Well, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Game number 7. What you've all been waiting for. Champions Field in a grand final. First regional of the spring split for Oceania. How about you just get forward on your feet a little bit more, because Team Power are looking electric.
They're feeling the magic as well. They've really switched on at this point, and 30 seconds have already had a couple of chances.
Ground Zero have to force. It's just crazy to think they win this. It'll be another best of 7. Can we get another crazy series? Or will it be Team Power to just shut the door completely on the hopes and dreams of the Green Army?
Memphis got demoed, but that does mean he spawns back to try and stop Fiber. Ground Zero is circling, but they don't want to commit too hard.
Look, he does get the pop over the top. Memphis is there. Does get followed up. Kaka trying to get the touch. Power, they just look so much more settled in defense. They're getting the huge beat out. Fever with the redirect goes wide.
He's had a couple of good redirects, but at this point hasn't been able to score. It's just to try and keep the ball out of Ground Zero's pocket, out of their chance to getting the counter attack. A chance here for Torsos. He sees his teammate getting chased to the demo. He's had to take it himself.
Great fake, but he finds Fever on the sidewall. Air dribble. So blocking on the backboard, kills it to the corner. There was so much trouble. Everyone from Power was circling. Super Lucky does well. Ambers, follow up from Torsos. Super Lucky's awkward. The 50-50s coming through. Power are pushing forward.
They were pushing desperately almost to score that goal, and maybe that's the chance for Kaka as he sees them flying past his screen, but he didn't have the boost to make the counter-attack work.
Ambers does get the touchdown, helped out by Torsos. Fiber's there on the side wall. Fever, last man demo's coming through as well. Ground Zero's favor. Fever just kills so much time, and Ground Zero back off.
What a nerve-wracking experience for these two teams, but especially for Ground Zero, who know that they don't have the extra chance in their pocket. They've got 3 minutes. They've got a chance at a goal, but Fiber has not looked as good as he was the rest of the series.
He's still going for these touches, though, showing the flair. The double touch from Amphis was fantastic. Torsos has to buy some time now. Does do well. Kicks it across the Torsos. Fever's around, and Power again. They need it. They want to break this deadlock. They want to put Ground Zero under the pump.
How often have you ever seen Fever playing this aggressively? He's always pushing up, looking for these redirects. He's normally their third man. He's normally their defensive superstar, and yet he's looking really confident. He's the one wanting to take charge.
It's been a few games since we've seen a bit of magic from Ground Zero. That's not magic at all. It's just open. And Fever, he tries to steal it, but it's Amphis to secure it. Ground Zero, the double commit just does nothing for them.
They've been calling out Torsos' name over and over again, saying that he hasn't got what it takes. Well, he's beaten out 2. He's outpaced them, and he's got them the lead in Game 7.
He was the man to start this reverse sweep at the beginning in game number 4, and he could be the man to finish it here for Team Power to lock in their first regional win. This is another opportunity.
Fever!
This shot goes on. Fever double tap.
Oh my goodness, you see it a mile away. Kaka gets blocked. Fever has so much open space. Torsos hounding Super Lucky. This is 2 minutes away from a reverse sweep, CJ.
Ground Zero have fallen in one of the biggest holes we've seen in a while for OCE. The reverse sweep, the best of 7 in the first regional, an all-important regional. We know what they can do. The points on the board. Super Lucky can't get the double touch. And Ground Zero cannot get anything working at the moment.
They're trying to work their magic, but they're all out of mana, Ground Zero. And now it's another breakaway. Torsos might have a chance for the third. A minute 40 remaining. Fever's going to put it on, and it's just got to be the big clear to save the day.
Fiber has to get something working here. You said it perfectly. He used all his special powers, all the goals in the first couple of games, but the cooldown seems too long, Yummy. He can't recharge fast enough.
Iron Fist has recovered from that one, and you can see him backflip out. They want to just hold on to the lead. They're not overcommitting at all.
They're killing time on the clock. Minute 14 left. Kaka can't get it to work. Fever with the touch. Super Lucky. The demo coming out. Torsos finding his way through to Fiber. And it's going to be Team Power. 1 minute left. 2-goal lead. This reverse sweep. Wow, I'm nearly putting it in the book.
The bumps, the cuts, everything shows the experience of Power, who have been overseas over and over again. They know how to hold on to these leads. They're not going to mind not scoring a goal as long as they can keep it out of Ground Zero's clutches.
Yeah, they're running out of boost as well. Super Lucky, the only one here. What can he do? Off the ceiling. Can he make the magic? Gets the dunk. It might not be over yet, ladies and gentlemen.
Super Lucky stands tall. He does it alone. He knows that they need to win this game, and he's blocked out everyone.
The hero of the winter split. Could he be the man again here in spring? Regional number 1. Can he do it for Ground Zero? They have to find a way. 41 seconds on the clock. They need a goal more than clean water and food right now.
40 seconds remaining. Super Lucky being under pressure this entire series to perform, but you can say that pressure makes diamonds. Is he able to go to that next level?
This is it right now. 22 seconds. What can they do? Super Lucky gets beat to the ball, pass across. Kaka doesn't read it. Emphasis there. Double touch. Can he go for the skim? 15 on the clock.
Is only one last chance, and it's got to be Fiber, but you can feel the breeze off that one. An important shot missed.
He can't quite get it. 5 seconds left. Team Power, are they going to do it? Can the ball hit the ground? Will they complete the reverse sweep? The ball's still up in the air. There it is.
Power, the best of 7 reverse sweep to win the grand final. They take Revenge 1, they take revenge, and they take their crown back.
Out of nowhere, Team Power, the winter split. Forget about that one. It's all about the spring, baby. And spring, the electricity's in the air, and Team Power are here to stay.
Power have sprung back into the competition. What a turnaround. It almost felt unbelievable. It felt like Ground Zero could not lose after that third game. They were so in control. But it just seems a team like this, a squad like this, who had so many mental issues last split, CJ, have found that mentality, that steel strength, and they stuck through it the entire way.
That's enormous. Just for the spirit of the team as well. That was sensational. And there's no one else that would be more unhappy than Formal coming back to him as well, because, well, he was sitting there hoping, praying 3-0 Ground Zero, 4-0. We're going to get the bracket reset. Formal, what happened?
Unhappy? Did you just hear all the traits that Yummy listed? All that comes from coaching, CJ. All that comes from coaching. So you know what? In the end, I'm always right in one way or another. Look, this shouldn't be about me, though. This should be about Power, because they needed this win. And to do so in this fashion after that winter split that they had, this is absolutely phenomenal stuff. So we should be celebrating as a region that, you know, the big 3 are back in their 3, and Power looks fantastic.
I just want to point out as well, that's the 18th all-time reverse sweep in RLCS. And the 4th in OCE. One of them are being against CJ when he was trying to qualify for a World Championship, and this is the 4th one.
Is this the first one in the final, though?
I think it's got to be the first one in the grand final. You look back at the history of OCE, a lot of the grand final